Today on Investigate TV, plainclothes federal agents seize cash from passengers at airports across the country without making any arrests.
How many innocent people do you have to search before you find what you're looking for?
I've got nothing to say to you.
Plus, the rate of solving homicides has dropped as police face a battle of trust.
There's somebody involved in this that's not providing the information that we really need.
And thousands of guns are stolen every year across the U.S., with a stark increase in thefts from cars.
They're not stealing guns to go hunting. They're stealing guns to commit crimes.
Investigate TV starts right now. Hello and welcome to Investigate TV. I'm Lee Zurich. Drug agents are searching innocent people boarding flights at airports across the nation. The DEA and local police aren't making many arrests, but they are seizing a lot of money from passengers even when no drugs are found. Brendan Keefe tracked down plainclothes agents as they searched passengers at the gate.
Hiding in plain sight at the busiest airport in the world, drug agents walk the concourses, blending in by dressing just like passengers. This is a DEA task force officer scanning passengers boarding a flight from Atlanta to Los Angeles. There's another. How do we know who they are? Because we use the same tactics to investigate them after several passengers said they were targeted for warrantless searches at the gate or on the jet bridge.
I'm a random search, guys. So he says.
So those white folks?
And I'm the random search.
Hollywood actor Jean Ellie was stopped by county narcotics officers as he boarded a flight for LA.
When you purchase your ticket?
Don't worry about it, man. Just put the call, check my bag so I can get out of here, please.
All right, this bag's good.
Thank you.
That whole thing is just so humiliating. Like, who thinks this is a proper way to treat anyone?
Drug agents searched Tabari Sturdivant's bags in the boarding area in front of other passengers, some recording on their phones. The agents didn't find anything suspicious.
He just is like, are you high? Have you smoked? Do you have any drugs in this bag? Do you have any money?
The DEA and other drug agents are seizing millions of dollars from departing passengers at airports across the nation without making arrests during what the feds call cold consent encounters.
You're either going to sign a consent form saying that you're allowing us to search them,
Okay.
or I'm going to detain them, run my dog on it, and get a search warrant.
Feel free to search the bag, sir.
Are you willing to sign a consent form?
Yes, I will sign a consent form. Feel free to search my bags.
It's not a consensual interview in those circumstances. It's an ambush.
Dan Albin and the Institute for Justice have sued the federal government on behalf of passengers who had their money seized when no drugs were found. The government doesn't arrest the passenger, they quite literally arrest their money.
Civil forfeiture is actually easier than criminal forfeiture.
If they take my money or decide to take it, I have to prove that the money is legitimate. They don't have to prove that it's from drugs.
Perversely, it's actually easier to forfeit someone's property from an innocent person who is not charged or convicted of a crime than it is from a criminal defendant who actually is convicted of a crime.
We found the plainclothes DEA task force officers by going to departure gates for LA flights. They stopped passengers at the boarding door, asking to see their documents before going through their carry-on bags. The searches we watched came up empty. The drug agents cased 3 different gates at Atlanta's airport, blending in with passengers while we observed from a standoff distance. But it didn't take long before the task force officers spotted our phone and camera. Once they sat down, it was time for a cold consent interview of our own.
Hey there, I'm with the news. You're Sergeant Fikes, aren't you? I'm with Atlanta News First.
Okay.
How many innocent people do you have to search before you find what you're looking for?
Sir, I've got nothing to say to you.
Another officer was behind me, out of sight, over my shoulder, giving hand signals to Fikes as I asked him questions.
What about Tabari Sturdivant? You remember him? No?
Took everything out your bag and put it all around in front of everybody and made you look like a criminal. Like, how would you feel, Officer Fikes?
Why do people have to prove themselves innocent? You got nothing to say to these people? So we went straight to the top.
Drug Enforcement Administration headquarters here in Northern Virginia. We gave the agency days advance notice that we wanted to sit down for an interview. But after we arrived in the nation's capital, the DEA said it didn't have time to answer our questions about the airport searches.
Not off the backs of innocent citizens. And you'll catch some crooks in this process as well. But sadly, we're catching too many innocents who have to fight their way out of this bind, and many of them can't do it.
Michigan Congressman Tim Walberg's bipartisan bill to fix the problem is on its way to the House floor after a unanimous vote. It would send all seized cash to the general fund. Right now, agencies get to keep all the money they seize.
It's a perverse incentive.
Criminals, actual criminals, have more rights
Yeah.
than innocent people who have their money taken by the government.
Under civil asset, criminals have more. That's why civil asset is such a valuable tool. It can be used well, but it can be abused. And because you don't have to meet the standards that you would for a criminal asset forfeiture.
That unanimous vote didn't happen in just any committee. The bill passed out of Judiciary, the setting for some of the most partisan battles in recent years. Yet Republicans and Democrats appear to agree on at least one thing: to make it harder for the government to seize money from innocent people. None of these people have been charged with crimes. They're arresting the money, not the person.
That's not the way our country's supposed to work. You're supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. Not, oh, you're guilty, give me your stuff, and then you can have it back if you prove you didn't get it through ill-gotten gains. And that's not the way our country's supposed to work.
Our team discovered the TSA manual instructs screeners to tip off law enforcement when they see large amounts of cash inside carry-on luggage, even though it's completely legal to travel domestically with any amount of money. Scan the QR code on your screen now to watch full Investigate TV videos on our YouTube channel. While you're there, subscribe to stay up to date on the latest Investigate TV content. Coming up, a drastic decline in the clearance rate for murder cases. We have an in-depth look at how mistrust in police could impact how crimes are solved nationwide.
Having a 54% clearance rate is devastating. First of all, it leads to more murder.
That story after the break. Welcome back to Investigate TV. FBI data finds in 2021, nearly 23,000 people were killed, with criminology experts estimating that nearly half of those cases will not be solved, leaving the killers free and families without justice. Some experts say the clearance rate in the U.S. is the worst in the Western world. Kristen Crowley digs into the data and finds out what can be done to reverse the trend.
They are men and women, teens and young children. Hundreds of people, all with a common thread. They were killed. But what ties them together isn't just how they died. It's that their killers got away with murder.
10 years I've been going to homicides, and 10 years I've been an advocate.
Rosalind Temple sees the impact of that loss of life more often than most.
How many murder scenes have you been called to?
Oh, shoot. Over hundreds.
She has no police background. She's not an investigator, but she is crucial to Kansas City homicide scenes. She's the founder of Kansas City's chapter, Mothers in Charge, a group dedicated to ending violence. Rosalind goes to murder scenes to comfort grieving families, knowing odds are the perpetrators behind their loved one's murder may never see justice.
What is it like talking with these families, especially ones that have been waiting for years for answers in their loved one's death?
It's really tough. And we have those conversations on a daily, weekly basis. Some families call us every day.
Every year, Kansas City police investigate more than 100 homicides. The department has seen its murder clearance rate drop from a peak of 95% in 1965 to 36% in 2022. But this issue is far from unique to Kansas City.
The failure to solve homicide is absolutely a nationwide problem. In a growing number of cities, most murders go unsolved.
Thomas Hargrove is the founder of the Murder Accountability Project, which tracks murder data across the country. That data includes calculating clearance rates. A case is cleared when a person is arrested or the case is solved, but no arrest can be made. That data, pulled from the FBI and police, shows what was once a national clearance rate of more than 80% in 1965 has plummeted to 54%. And major cities like Seattle, Chicago, Philadelphia, and more are below that.
Having a 54% clearance rate is devastating. First of all, it leads to more murder.
That's because Hargrove says it gives the appearance to criminals that they have a good chance of getting away with the crime. And while he says dwindling funding, resources, and staffing contribute to the declining clearance rate, his research points to one factor most responsible.
The problem is that there's a growing mistrust of police, especially after incidents like the murder of George Floyd in Minneapolis.
The murder of Floyd sparked nationwide protests and calls from some activists to defund the police. Following that tumultuous summer, murder clearance rates, which were already on the decline, continued to drop. Experts we spoke with say mistrust for police means less cooperation from the public, who are key in helping investigators solve these crimes.
It's definitely something that we see in most cases that we work, at least in Kansas City, is that there's somebody involved in this that's not providing the information that we really need.
Even witnesses who may see the crime right before their eyes sometimes fail to come forward, an issue Mothers in Charge member Cynthia Tucker knows all too well.
There was a fight, and then my son and his friend were shot.
There were people around.
Tons.
But your son's killer has never been caught.
No.
Cynthia's son, Jacob Payne, was 19.
Just feels like someone reached in my chest and grabbed my heart and is squeezing it. Sometimes it feels like I can't catch my breath. I got kicked in the gut. I wouldn't wish this on anyone. Anyone.
But Hargrove says there is hope in preventing more people from feeling Cynthia's pain.
Try to change the narrative in the relationship between police and their community, and you'll never imagine what happens. The clearance rate goes up, and when that happens, the murder rate starts to decline.
Kansas City Police Department's partnership with Rosalind is one way it's trying to gain trust with its community.
We call her out every time, whether it's the middle of the night or the middle of the day. She's got the skill and the experience to really do better than us a lot of times and connect with people.
Would there be some murders in Kansas City that would remain unsolved without Rosalind's help?
100%.
It's a job Rosalind feels called to do, but it's a job she never wanted.
I'm a mom, just a mama. Just want to be a mama. Just want to be.
Rosalind's son, 26-year-old Antonio Thompson, whom she called Pee-wee, was shot and killed inside his apartment in 2011, the day before Thanksgiving. His murder still unsolved.
It's not right. And all you ask somebody to do is speak up. Speak up for him. He deserves that.
How hard is it to live this over and over again through other parents?
It's very hard. You know, every time I help someone, I'm called out to a homicide scene, support a mother, family, father, or somebody. It traumatized me, yes, but it also helps me to live.
Live for her son, whose life was cut short. Live for the thousands of others like him. And live to hopefully one day, finally, see justice. To increase clearance rates, the Murder Accountability Project recommends that state and local police collaborate more. That may sound really simple, but it's actually something that is rarely done in the United States. One state that does do that, according to the Accountability Project, is Wyoming, which also happens to have one of the highest murder clearance rates in the country at nearly 65%.
Thanks, Kristen. Looking for more Investigate TV content online? Scan the QR code on your screen right now or visit InvestigateTV.com. Up next, at least one gun is stolen from a car every 15 minutes, as experts say it's become the biggest source of stolen guns.
If there weren't guns in these cars, they wouldn't be breaking in nearly as much.
What you can do to prevent theft after the break. Welcome back to Investigate TV. Tens of thousands of guns are reported stolen every year across the country. That's according to an analysis of FBI data. And the feds believe the number of stolen firearms in the U.S. is likely higher because many gun thefts go unreported. We uncover a growing trend: guns stolen from parked cars, and what you can do to prevent theft. People with masks and gloves captured on video breaking into cars in Tennessee.
They're not stealing guns to go hunting. They're stealing guns to commit crimes.
The mayor of Memphis calls attention to a growing trend: guns stolen from cars.
If there weren't guns in these cars, they wouldn't be breaking in nearly as much.
In Amarillo, Texas, police have seen similar heists unfold.
Cars are wonderful, but they're our biggest source of problems. We have a great number of guns stolen from cars, both locked and unlocked.
And the problem is not limited to Tennessee and Texas. According to Every Town for Gun Safety, a nonprofit that advocates against gun violence and for gun control, an average of at least one gun is taken from a car every 15 minutes. Their analysis of FBI data found in 2020 an estimated 40,000 guns were taken from cars across 271 cities, a stark increase from a decade ago when that same data showed fewer than 4,000 guns were taken from cars. Every town ranks cities with the highest rates of gun thefts from cars. Memphis and Chattanooga, Tennessee top the list, while Columbia and North Charleston, South Carolina were among the top 5. The nonprofit's analysis finds in 2020 the most common source of stolen guns: cars parked at home.
If you leave your gun in your car, it's likely that sooner or later it's going to get stolen, and then it goes into the hands of a criminal.
And when thieves go looking, it's not always random. Police in Arkansas say they tend to target pickup trucks.
Guys may be looking for a specific car to target or a kind of vehicle to target. There may be vehicles that tend to have guns in them more often than others.
There's a saying in the community that your car is not a holster, meaning it's not a safe place to store your gun.
In Baton Rouge, Louisiana, firearm instructors stress locking your car door should never be considered secure gun storage, and that includes a locked glove compartment or center console.
So this is what a lot of people use for their cars.
For those leaving their weapon in the car, experts showed us lock boxes made specifically for vehicle storage.
It's a small safe that can fit under a seat in the back.
And the cool thing about this is you can actually bolt this down to your vehicle.
Some lawmakers are taking steps to hold gun owners accountable should their firearm be stolen from a car.
We need to have a conversation. We need to promote policies that promote responsible gun ownership.
During Louisiana's 2023 regular session, State Senator Gary Carter introduced a bill that allows a gun owner to be penalized if their firearm is stolen from an unlocked car, then later used in a felony.
So I think everyone agrees that we have too much gun violence. So what do we do to make sure that, hey, if you're a responsible gun ownership, don't leave your gun in an unlocked car.
While the measure did not make it out of committee, he believes secure storage can help curtail a supply of firearms.
Many of the guns that are being used in these felonies are being obtained from stolen cars. So we need to have a conversation. We need to promote policies that promote responsible gun ownership.
Whether you leave it outside or take it in your home, officials and police say locking weapons is the key to slowing down this dangerous trend.
The harder we make it for stuff to get stolen, especially firearms, the safer our community is going to be.
As of September 2023, only 15 states require gun owners to report lost and stolen guns. Every Town for Gun Safety says states should pass laws that require guns to be securely stored and not visible when left unattended in cars. Only California, Connecticut, and Oregon have done so. You can stream this story and others from Investigate TV anytime directly on your television. Download our free app on Roku, Amazon Fire, and Apple TV devices today. Coming up, so-called phantom debt schemes have cost consumers millions of dollars over the years. We share how you can spot the red flags coming up. Welcome back to Investigate TV. Every year, thousands of consumers are conned into paying debts they don't really owe. These phantom debt schemes involve criminals trying to scare you into thinking you will be sued or thrown into jail for a bill that was never yours in the first place. Rachel DePompa spoke to a federal agency about how you can avoid falling victim in this week's Watching Your Wallet.
The Federal Trade Commission's returned millions of dollars over the years to consumers duped by phantom debt. That's debt a scammer made up, tricked you into paying. You don't really owe anything. It happens to thousands of consumers each year. Somebody takes some information from the dark web about you, calls you on your phone, and demands you pay up. Or maybe they pretend to be a collection agency or from the IRS. The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau and FTC have taken action against a number of players over the years. John McNamara with the CFPB says this behavior is absolutely criminal. You can spot it. The scammer asks you to pay a bill in an unusual way or in a rush, demanding you pay.
If you ask a scammer questions, they generally will hang the phone up immediately and they will go away. But again, any sort of rush for urgency to pay right away generated by a phone call should be met by the consumer with a high degree of suspicion. And it's okay, ask questions. Ask them to put it in writing. Again, scammers will almost never do that.
Always keep good records of past debt. If you're contacted by a credit collection agency, request a debt validation letter. Check your credit report regularly. And if you do have legitimate old debt, it's possible to negotiate with the debt collection agency and come up with a plan to pay it off.
If you do receive a call from someone threatening to have you arrested, if you don't pay immediately, hang up and report the call to the FTC online at reportfraud@ftc.gov. Follow the latest investigations from our team on your favorite social media platform. We are at Investigate TV on Facebook, X, and Instagram. And that's it for us. Thanks for joining us here on Investigate TV. Hope to see you next week.